sneaking alongside of it. Bermuda is 136 feet long, 26 feet wide, sits in about 30 feet of water. You can see the bottom. It's a little bit shallower right here, so it's a little bit easier to see. It is just flat sand low, so it doesn't look like too much. Bow and stern are about 20 feet tall. They're only going to be about 6 feet beneath the glass. Got the bow coming into view right now. 6 feet beneath the glass. It's got a piece of metal strapping that goes along the top and down the front. That was put there by the captain. It protected the bow of the boat from anything he might have run into. Logs, maybe some icebergs. Also lowered his insurance rates. Still important even back then. Along, you'll notice you can even see the wood grain in places. I'll talk about that a couple different times, why you can see the wood of the ship still and why it's still in such good condition. But the big square post that sticks up at us, that's the tow post. Ropes and chains would have been tied around that, run out to teams of horses or oxen on the mainland. And that was to help tow the ship through the Welland Canal, which was the 30-mile journey around Niagara Falls. They were strictly a sailing vessel. They couldn't sail through the narrow canalways. It was much easier to just be towed. Smaller rectangular opening behind the tow post, that's the forward companionway and chain locker. Ropes and chains for the anchor were stored in there, along with sleeping quarters for two. Those would have been the two guys low on the totem pole. Bow of the boat's a lot bumpier than the stern. And part of the reason our shipwreck is in such good condition is because Lake Superior is really cold. Average temperature hovers around 40 degrees most of the year. Surface temp has made it to about 65.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's just about swimming weather. 68 in here today. My goodness. Bath water.
Chicago area as far as I know, so I'm not sure. That's my dad.
With that cold water, we don't have some of the big carpets of algae, zebra mussels, bog mussels that tend to grow on wrecks in warmer lakes. Also cuts down on weeds and decomposing microbes that can live in the water. Large circle opening here is the forward mast hole. It's 3 feet in diameter. Forward mast would have been 110 feet tall, made from a single white pine, one of two masts that the ship would have had. Other would have been back towards the stern, and some damaged decking we'll go over. Small circle opening behind it. There's two of them, one's capped. These are the bilge pump wells. That's where the men would have been pumping water out of the ship. Got a very large square opening here. This is the largest cargo hatch we have, the forward cargo hatch. Some of the 488 tons of high-grade iron ore would have been stored in here. Bermuda was rated for 400 tons. They overloaded it by about 88 tons for one of the last trips of the season, trying to make a little extra money. Didn't work out too well for them. Long, skinny, rectangular opening behind that is the centerboard hatch. Centerboard's kind of like the dolphin fin shape underneath the sailboat. This one was raisable. They could bring it up into the hull of the ship, going through shallow waters like those canalways, put it back down in deeper waters, help the ship track a little straighter, not get blown off course by the wind. Big wooden cylinder down here. This is the log boom the Canadian Salvage Company brought out here to create all of the damage you're starting to see now. They took that log boom, smashed it through the deck of the ship, wanted to get light down to the hard hat divers, give them some easier access to the iron ore. These hard hat divers were not the divers of today. These were the guys with the big canvas suits, big brass helmets, and an air hose running up to the surface where hopefully their best buddy was constantly pumping them some fresh air. It's probably in your best interest to not make your best buddy mad. iron ore was salvaged because at the time it was worth more than the ship itself. And the insurance company just, wanted their money back. Next square opening here is the aft cargo hatch. More of the iron ore would have been stored in here. Behind this cargo hatch, we do have a barrel that sits on the deck. It's not actually originally from the shipwreck. It was found nearby by some divers. They thought it was pretty cool. Stuck it on top so we can see it too. It's actually thought to be older than the shipwreck itself. And then you're going to start to see a very, very large open area. This is the largest opening on the ship. This is the cabin trunk area. It is 20 by 20. The cabin trunk would have been 8 feet tall. It sat 4 feet down into the hull of the ship on the beams that run down there 4 feet up out of the deck. That way the captain can still see where he's going. This had the bunks for the captain and first mate, kitchen, bathroom. Today it's got this port side railing that lays across the top. That was torn off by dive boats in the 60s. There were 4 of them tied off to that railing. The wind picked up, took their dive boats, and unfortunately took the railing right with them. It's still a very popular dive site today, except today they tie up to the white mooring buoys on either end of the wreck instead of the wreck itself. Visibility is so good right now, you can see all the way down into the hull of the ship. It's pretty cool. Small square opening behind the cabin trunk here is the aft companionway. Little stick ladder in there, led down below deck. And then we're on the stern deck of the Bermuda. Big metal post down here is the rudder post. It's the steering mechanism of the ship. Would have been attached to the ship's wheels, still attached to the ship's rudder down below. You'll see it's got a chain wrapped around it. That was put there by the salvage company. They didn't want the rudder swinging back and forth while they towed it over here from the mainland. Rudder is still intact, we just can't see it. This stern rail angles out a little bit too much. Stern rail is about 6 feet beneath our glass. It actually used to sit a little bit higher. In 2014, we had a very cold winter. There was 7 feet of ice in this bay. We ripped the top of the stern rail right off. At this point, I'm going to have you guys head back to your seats, unless you're sitting upstairs, and then I'm going to ask